Let's switch to another topic. So we've talked about promotions. Let's see what's coming up in scan and go technology. It's a hot topic here on the Romanian market. And our next speaker will tell us more about how this technology can help your retail business. Shopreme, as the leading scan-and-go provider, has driven the largest vendor-led rollouts in partnership with some of the world's top retailers, such as Auchan, Douglas, and many more. In this session, we will find out the essential steps retailers must take to achieve high adoption rates, and we will discover how we can generate new revenue streams by monetizing scan-and-go retail media. Please welcome Kevin Müller, Director, Retail Acceleration and Checkout Transformation at Shopreme.
Already? Yeah, right, very good. Give me just a moment, I got a few things, a few gimmicks that I need to put down, and then we can start. Some water, and then let's jump straight into the presentation. Thank you for joining the presentation. Thank you also to the brilliant Bucharest Tech Week team for making this such an enjoyable stage to present on. My name is Kevin, and at Shopreme I look for growth opportunities with our retail partners through the use of Scan and Go, or as some may know it, mobile self-checkout. Shopreme is the most successful Scan and Go provider, having had the largest vendor-driven rollouts with some of Europe's and indeed the world's largest retailers. Today I will speak about a topic that I'm very passionate about, Scan and Go excellence. I'm sure that most of you are already familiar with Scan and Go technology. Customers walk into a store, scan products using their smartphone, pay using mobile payment methods or the terminal, and then leave with their digital receipt. As we all know, the retail world is changing rapidly. Today's customers demand convenience and speed, so as a retailer you must come up with ideas to offer services that expedite and improve the customer journey and experience. Some of you might think, we've tried Scan and Go before, but it just didn't take off. We know that getting customers to adopt new technology, a new way of shopping, is not always easy. That's why in the first part of today's presentation, I'll share with you some strategies and tactics proven to drive adoption rates. Why am I confident to talk about this topic? Our projects have achieved adoption rates of over 15%, and our solutions are live in over 1,500 stores. In the second part, I will tell you more about how this strategic technology can be much more than a driver for fast and convenient self-checkout, because it can guide customers through information and be a real retail media booster if done right. So let's get started with part one and 5 core themes essential to achieving high Scan and Go adoption rates. These themes stem from real-life experiences and use cases of retailers who've successfully implemented Scan and Go with us. The 5 core themes include effective advertising, how to get your customers to recognize your solution, communicate the value you create through it to them, enhancing the customer experience, why you need to and how you can get this right, the physical environment, because we must understand that Scan and Go is a strategic technology since it touches checkout. So just throwing it into a store, hoping that this new journey will take off without adapting the stores itself, won't work. Securing stakeholder buy-in, where we need to get everyone in the organization on board, rallying behind the technology, and rollout size and speed, why this matters, and what different rollout types contribute to an increase in adoption rates. Of course, in the real world, there's always more that you can do, and one could add 1 or 2 more themes, but following these 5, if done right, will put some rocket boosters under your project. Let's begin with one of the most critical elements. It's where it all starts, advertising. It should be evident that you must inform your customers that you are offering this functionality. But unfortunately, we can repeatedly see that retailers are doing pretty well on the implementation side while completely flunking advertising. Let me give you an example so you can imagine the scale of how wrong one can get this theme. We work with a retailer that is great on so many levels. How they usually communicate with customers, how carefully they curate the assortment. Their stores look fantastic. They have a neat online store. They pretty much excel in all areas relevant to customers. The IT department is highly effective. We implemented Scan and Go, and they ticked many of the boxes needed to make it a success. For example, customers can purchase all products. There's a full loyalty integration. And the UI and UX were adjusted to fit the journey and the customers. Where they got it horribly wrong was creating visibility for Scan and Go in their stores. When we launched, they did quite a splash with the CEO visiting the first pilot store. They sent out great press releases and making the local news. But unfortunately, nobody thought about any measures to tell customers that Scan and Go was finally there. Well, actually, there was one measure. It was a tiny flyer that said, "Shop faster using Scan and Go," with a visualization of a person scanning items. Now, that itself can be a good measure if laid out in some prominent locations within the store or handed out at the conventional checkout. Alas, they only used one flyer at the store, and now to the placement. They stuck it to the sliding entrance door of the store. I'm pretty sure you can imagine what happened. The customer walks towards the door opens, poof, and the flyer disappeared. In those first crucial weeks, we could barely see any transactions. So then with the workshop, we told them that this was simply not good enough and that they needed to change modus operandi. They did, and usage numbers went up significantly. It's important to understand that we are changing habitualized shopping behavior. Since most customers haven't ever used Scan and Go, retailers need to put weight behind advertising so they get it. And there's a kaleidoscope panoply of elements that you can use to raise awareness for your solution. Think of the classics: banners, digital signage, floor stickers, flyers, newspaper ads, TV spots. All the classical elements can, of course, contribute to an increase in usage. What's important is to focus on the channels most relevant to the target audience, to the target cohorts, social media. With TikTok, Instagram, the incredible reach, why not reel in some local content creators to document their first Scan and Go journey? Or create a contest where the top 3 Scan and Go videos get their basket reimbursed. Investment is low, but with the speed of communication we are facing, it can pay off significantly. Returning to the store, promoting Scan and Go using employees and outside promoters to raise awareness during those first crucial weeks after launch can be a real game changer. We recommend that to all the retailers that we're working with because it gives this extra little push. Our clients' employees, they actively promote Scan and Go during rush hours to take pressure from the conventional checkout. So they see Scan and Go as a relief when otherwise they would not be able to cope with the amount of customers in the store. What's also important is to communicate the value Scan and Go brings to customers. Speed, convenience, a better overview of their shopping basket and savings. And then there are also more modern elements to boost visibility, such as smartphone mounts attached to shopping carts with deep link QR codes to the app stores for convenient downloading. The challenge with this theme is that the responsible departments are sometimes not informed or informed only shortly before launch, leaving little time to get an holistic communications plan up and running. That's why it is essential to start planning communication early during the project and have measures prepared for the post-launch phase as well. Let's jump straight into the second theme, customer experience. And let me make this very clear. With Scan and Go customers, you usually have one chance to win them over. Again, we're changing ingrained shopping behavior, so the customers must understand and enjoy the solution the first time they use it. If customers don't like the experience the first time, they won't come back. They will retreat into the shell of conventional checkout. Customers are spoiled by the crispest and most reactive smartphone applications. And your Scan and Go solution needs to become one of them. They don't suffer unattractive, unintuitive applications in 2023. So many elements can make or break the Scan and Go customer experience, that we could hold a masterclass just on this topic. I will pick a few things that you need to nail. Let's start with where the customer starts. Ask yourself, is the registration process necessary for customers to use Scan and Go? Technically, it's not. The registration process can be a hurdle for first-time customers. If you feel you must have one, make it as straightforward as possible. Spare out unnecessary fields, consider making them optional, and reward registered customers with personalized recommendations and offers. Next, you need to guide customers through the process. For the first journey, sliding tutorials that explain the core functionality of Scan and Go for first-time users can help. Use on-screen tips to explain how and why things work. The best Scan and Go UIs are self-explanatory, and there should not be a need for standalone tutorials, but again, you can have them in your solution to make the start a little bit easier. Also, remove any friction from the journey and offer shortcuts whenever possible to reduce cognitive involvement. The simpler, the better. We work with a market research, especially retailer, that collects demographic data, and the oldest regular Scan and Go customer is 92 years old. Well, this is, of course, an outlier. This is the level of user-friendliness you need to provide. This is the level of user-friendliness you need to achieve. Of course, suppose you already have a successful customer application. Then you don't want a standalone application that cannibalizes your existing customer application. It's not good for you. It's neither for your customers. You want to increase the value of your existing application by integrating a vendor's full and high-quality functionality instead of starting from scratch and learn everything on your own. This also means that millions of customers don't have to download yet another application, but can use Scan and Go when you roll out the update to the respective app stores. Next, customers must not miss out. They need to purchase everything in your store. If a single item forces customers to return to the conventional checkout, that's it. The experience is ruined. Scan and Go customers should never have to wait in line, so consider all the unique use cases. Products without a barcode, deli products, baked goods, weight-based products, products sold by the meter, deposit products, age-restricted products, EAS-protected products, you name it. I remember going live with a retailer who thought, no, we'll test with a limited portion of the assortment, and then maybe at a later stage we'll allow all products to be bought using Scan and Go. The first negative reply read, couldn't purchase a gift card, had to go to the till again. Frustrating. It doesn't have to be this way. Because of the retailers we're already working with, we provide most use cases out of the box, and then usually there are 1 or 2 edge cases when starting a new project. The same applies to Office Loyalty. Scan and Go customers need to benefit from these things like your conventional customers. They must never miss out. On the contrary, they should be rewarded for using Scan and Go, helping your business to run more smoothly and efficiently. Since we have digital capabilities in front of the shelf, we can raise the attention for promotions. For example, if there's a buy one, get one free promotion, and I scan the product once, if I can highlight that I might want to take another one and scan another one to benefit from the promotion. Scan and Go should indeed be so well integrated that enrolling for a loyalty system should be the tap of a single button. Next, payment methods. Payment can add friction to the checkout process, but it doesn't have to. We always urge retailers to provide a variety of different payment methods, offer mobile payment options such as credit cards, debit cards, and mobile wallet payments. The more, the merrier. We also noticed that payment at the payment terminal in a fast checkout lane can be a significant adoption booster, especially for first-time users. We also worked with retailers who insisted on only starting with cash or card payment. So at the payment step of the journey, a QR code was generated to hand the basket over to the conventional cash desk. Now, there were some customers that had to wait in line again, in the queue again, and some of them then said that, couldn't pay using mobile payments, and we would be very happy to see this implemented in the store and in the application. We must always consider all the friction points of a journey in a store, and one is age verification, and that applies to the conventional journey as well as the Scan and Go journey. So usually when customers add an age-restricted item to their basket, they get a small pop-up telling them that they must verify their age with an employee before payment. A QR code is generated after payment that associates can scan using our employee application. Then the employee sees the date the customer has to been born before, so they can verify the age easily and allow or decline the purchase. The beauty of Scan & Go is that customers only need to verify their age once with an employee, and they can then choose to store this information for future purchases. So they then use biometrics, such as fingerprint or Face ID, to confirm their age, reducing employee interaction and saving customer and store associates time. This can be very convenient for customers on both sides of the age spectrum. Then, basket checks. They're also very essential. The rule should be do as few as possible, but as many as necessary. We use a software-based approach, so employees never have to pick a customer for a basket check themselves. Intelligently selecting baskets is one key element in reducing friction. We only want to check baskets that are suspicious. Make the check as efficient as possible for the employees. For small baskets, a full rescan of items isn't required. Instead, conduct an eye check or a partial rescan of items to save your customers and employees time. Then, there are vital ease-of-use add-ins. I mentioned smartphone mounts earlier. They make scanning bulky items easier for customers. The best are simple snap-in and snap-out smartphone mounts. We've seen this work wonders in various projects. It's also a very nice add-in for customers not using Scan & Go. Scan & Go, fortunately, also allows us to learn from data and improve rapidly, providing a feedback form for the customers directly within the application. Don't wait for them to visit your app stores. Use this feedback to adapt and improve your solution, but also track the steps of the customers like you track conversions online. This way, you will find where the customers are struggling or if specific devices and have issues at certain steps of the journey. Then go back to the drawing board, make the improvements. Now, retailers that build Scan & Go themselves will face challenges regarding customer experience because they will have to think of all the do's and don'ts from scratch, and they must be careful not to lose too many customers on the way to a mature solution. Then third, adapt your stores. Of course, the brick and mortar and the digital journey need to be consistent. Shopping in a physical store is primarily physical. So if you don't do slight changes to your store, the friction created by this idleness will deter customers from using your solution. What needs to be changed depends heavily on your store processes. Some of our clients change price tags for fruits and vegetables to include a scannable barcode. Others installed smart scales so customers could scan a digital QR code for weighted items. With another customer, we developed a piece of furniture with our partners the store makers to disable RFID tags of EAS-protected products after payment. One change we observed always pays off is modifying the checkout zone. This is probably the most impactful measure one could implement to increase adoption. A well-designed checkout area can make the difference between 2 to 3% and 10 to 20% of transactions done via Scan & Go. Our most successful customers made the checkout process as straightforward as possible by creating a Scan & Go fast lane. Customers waiting in line are more likely to notice and be attracted to Scan & Go when watching other shoppers walk out of the fast lane. It's fresh, it's new, and therefore draws attention. Why can't I simply walk out when I've been waiting in line for 5 minutes? I ought to try this the next time. To optimize such fast lanes, we developed together with a dedicated exit hardware, the shopreme Vector, and let's take a look at how it works in this video. This brings clarity for customers and clarity for employees. This is a real eye-catcher in the exit zone and one of our technological loss prevention measures as well. As you notice the possibility for paying at the Vector's terminal, we've seen 90% of first-time users opt for terminal payment, and so they don't have to keystroke their card details during the first journey, the first purchase. More than 60% of customers then pay using mobile payment methods at their second purchase. So the beauty is that if the customer pays at the Vector terminal, their payment information can be automatically stored in your application for future mobile payments, reducing friction for the next journey. The challenge with this theme is that the perception is sometimes that just offering a scan and go is sufficient. No changes are needed, as retailers are reluctant to invest in additional store hardware. But one lean fast lane can significantly boost the scan and go experience, and the efficiency gains, an increase in basket size of scan and go baskets, can rapidly amortize the hardware. Next, stakeholder buy-in. Get everyone on board. I can't stress this enough. I've seen great projects not taking off initially because the retailer failed to involve all departments necessary. Scan and go is not just a marketing and sales instrument. It's not just a new checkout or payment type, or another IT or innovation project or in-store process. It's all of these things at the same time and more. If everyone pulls together, Scan and Go can be a tremendous success. If not, it might never reach its full potential. This technology impacts every aspect of your business, and you need to treat it as such. The most prominent champions of your Scan and Go solution must be your frontline workers. Show them how this will make their lives easier. I remember visiting a store with a retail CEO shortly before their launch. The CEO, and he was former Lidl top management, he rushed through the store with almost superhuman vigor and speed and quite militarily assigning tasks throughout the store, most unrelated to Scan and Go. And at the end of the journey, he turned and he told the regional sales manager and store manager that from now on, all employees in the store needed to check out using Scan and Go because they needed to understand and love the technology, see its benefits, and become true champions of it. And how right he was. And their employees are now Scan and Go savvy. They recommend it to customers daily, which shows through usage rates of 15 to 20%. Which brings me to management buy-in. Understanding that Scan and Go is not just a gimmick, but the strategic technology that can give your business a competitive edge in the market requires total commitment to the very top. Only with this support can crucial decisions be made quickly to drive adoption. The challenges of this theme are that a single department often drives Scan and Go without communicating with other departments of the organization. Regarding employees, they could perceive Scan and Go as a threat or as another technological burden. So information and communication and training are essential, creating a value proposition for all stakeholders so they can all win if Scan and Go is successful. Lastly, rollout size and speed. So about rollout size and speed, many retailers have invested significantly in Scan and Go, only to lose momentum after the launch. Every retailer's customers are unique, and they have different demands, expectations, and requirements. So listening to customers' and employees' feedback during the pilot phase is vitally important to achieving excellence. Based on this feedback, make the necessary changes, but then roll out the solution on a large scale fast. In today's highly connected world, if you want to win over consumers, technology needs to be accessible. Implementing Scan and Go and promoting it to customers will lead to frustration if it's only available in a limited number of stores and customers cannot use it in other locations. At projects where the retailer rolled out only in a handful of stores, we could see the customer's frustration reflected in the App Store reviews, where they said they loved the tech, but didn't understand why they couldn't use it in other locations. After a successful pilot, go for at least a centric rollout in a single city. Most effective are big bang or full regional rollouts. For example, go live in a county and then start a regional communications campaign. Large rollouts will inevitably result in word-of-mouth advertising, because target groups that are most likely to use Scan & Go tend to rapidly and wildly share the experience through social media channels. The challenge with rollout size and speed is that the usual conundrum of we don't roll out if we don't see high usage numbers versus we don't have high usage numbers because we don't roll out widely enough. It's the bold retailers who have made up their minds about the technology that win because they walk the walk. Now, to conclude part one of today's presentation, let me emphasize the key points. First, don't let your solution fly under the radar. Use the full advertising power you have. Then, you only have one chance to get this right. Everything in your store needs to be available for Scan & Go customers. The user experience needs to be intuitive and fun. The store needs to support the journey. It's often minor adoptions that make the difference between failure and success. Get everyone on board. Scan & Go is a multidisciplinary technology, and make it accessible. Customers should never wonder whether they could use it in one of your stores or not. The more stores, the faster the word will spread. Right. So then let's continue with the second section of today's presentation, which is about the retail media potential of Scan & Go solutions. I split this once more into two parts. In part one, I want to give you some insights into the different pieces of information you can display to customers using Scan & Go and how this can create value across your channels. The second part then examines how retailers can then utilize these elements to create new revenue streams by having brands pay for placement. So let's get started with a little bit of musing. I want you to think of the last product you bought online, no matter the category or online retailer. Think of all the different things you saw while browsing the product page and remember what supported your decision to purchase this product. For many customers, it is a combination of information elements, such as ratings, reviews, multimedia content, highlighted promotions, price, product comparisons, textual descriptions, specifications, product guides, nutrition facts, allergens, you name it. These elements reassure us that the choice we're making is a good one, that we are not throwing money out the window. Also remember how online shopping inspires us because it remembers and recognizes us. Think of personalized recommendations and offers based on our purchase history or life basket. Or think of how in online shopping we get ideas from retailers, such as recipes at grocery retailers or DIY ideas at online hardware stores. Now, how do we get this reassurance and assistance when shopping offline? Usually we use our senses. Touching, testing, seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling. These things help us to make purchase decisions when shopping offline. We read the information on the back of the package. We ask a store associate, given we find one. We touch products to check their quality. Think of the good old kick to the tire of a car, or squeezing fruits and vegetables because you want to check if they are fresh or ripe. And of course, we sometimes whip out our smartphone to look up additional information. Now, the beauty of a Scan & Go journey is that all the digital elements we know and like from online shopping, all the digital elements that make us say yes, can suddenly be displayed before, while, and after a customer is at my store. Let me give you an example to make this more clear. Let's think of a grocery retailer named Fresh Mike that integrated Scan & Go into his existing customer application. Fresh Mike took the full functionality of an established vendor, such as shopreme, and enriched its application, which already had millions of downloads and active users. 15% of customers at Mike's store shop using Scan & Go, and one of them is David, one of a loyal Scan & Go customer, and he starts his journey at home by using the retailer's app to create a shopping list. When searching for pasta, let's say penne, David sees Barilla penne on top of the list, equipped with a small flag that says, Mike's Choice. David then taps on a product to get additional product information. The detailed page shows a 4.8-star rating, a product review section, nutritional information, a textual description, and a product video that Barilla provided to the retailer next to a video done by a food influencer on Instagram. David adds the pasta and other items to the shopping list and heads off to the store the same afternoon. Arriving at the store, David starts filling his shopping cart by scanning items. When scanning his pack of penne, the item is automatically ticked off his shopping list. David also gets a small pop-up asking him to check out this fresh Parmesan cheese Barilla just recently launched, which goes well together with the penne he just scanned. Also, a small button appears that, if pressed, asks David if he would like a recipe for this penne. He can enter a few parameters, such as how many people he would like to cook for, how much time he wants to spend cooking, and what the meal should cost. And only recipes with ingredients available at the store are displayed so that David is not frustrated by not finding an item. Once David finds a sauce recipe he likes, he can put all the ingredients on his digital shopping list with a single button tap. When David scans products on his way through the store, they are again automatically removed from the list. Now, this journey means more inspiration, more time spent on the store floor, a higher retail media penetration, an increase in basket size, and a more enjoyable customer journey. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Some of the elements mentioned influence us when we shop at Amazon, such as Amazon's choice flags, the way products are listed when we search for items, or the product information that gave David the trust in the quality of the product. But the setting is fundamentally different, since David is physically in a store, purely focused on shopping, in an environment where he can't just jump between online retailers or get distracted by the YouTube video playing in another tab. Also, there's less risk of customer confusion, because compared to Amazon, the assortment is much clearer since FreshMy curates it. We all know how overwhelming Amazon has become, with hundreds of results pages of no-brand products because of Amazon's infinite shelf capabilities. So there's a lot of value you can create by connecting channels, by collecting more data and content across channels, meaning basket data, reviews, and ratings. We can give customers more confidence about products across channels. As an example, let me highlight recommendations once more. Since we can suddenly display recommendations in-store and online, customers that use multiple channels of a retailer can get the most relevant recommendations. If I'm a hybrid customer shopping sometimes online, sometimes offline, I can get better recommendations based on my previous purchases, no matter the channel. And there's a good case for merging this data backed by research. We know that customers expect relevant offers. Data suggests that 91% of consumers are more likely to shop with brands that recognize them, remember them, and provide them with offers and recommendations that are truly relevant to them. In e-commerce, we can see that the conversion rates of customers who click on product recommendations is 5.5 times higher than that of non-clicking customers. And social proof is a very potent tool, since we trust people who are like us, and therefore what customers like me bought is the most engaging recommendation type. And it's not just your online store that can benefit from integration. Since you can also embed content from multiple social media channels, you can drive up their traffic while providing relevant content to your customers based on their target group. So much so about the information that you can display. Yes, informed customers are great. But given that retailers are transforming increasingly into media businesses and the variety of content you can suddenly show while your customer is in your store, let's also talk about how you can monetize that. I mentioned Amazon before, which is seen and has proven time and time again that this is the retail media juggernaut. Jeff Bezos once said, "We don't make money when we sell things. We make money when we help customers make purchase decisions." Since 2021, Amazon has generated more profit through retail media than through online merchandise sales. 35% of its online retail revenue come from behavioral recommendations. It is elements such as Amazon's Choice, Amazon sponsored ads, Amazon bestsellers, Amazon highly rated carousels, frequently bought brands carousels, etc., that help make Amazon such a retail media powerhouse. Because Amazon tracks customer behavioral data so granularly, they can provide brands with crystal clear information about the effectiveness of campaigns. Also, retailers such as Amazon, Walmart, or Target provide brands in the US with retail media network platforms they can use to purchase space with the retailer conveniently. If retailers have such a system in place already, they can simply onboard the Scan and Go elements as part of the mix. Looking at brick and mortar retail, think of the mind-boggling amount of market development funds paid by brands for visual merchandising elements, displays, paper banners, digital signage time, shelf flags, again, you name it. And now let's think back to David, who loves to shop using Scan and Go. You probably noticed some selected media elements I mentioned during the example. Listing Barilla on top of the search, providing trust through the retailer's choice flag, the videos provided by Barilla, the complementary product recommendations, and maybe even the recipe containing additional Barilla products to raise awareness with David. Brands such as Barilla will go to incredible lengths to get into the evoked set of customers and to be on top of customers' minds. It is their way to survive and thrive in an environment where retailers focus more and more on backward integration, new competitors push into categories, and customers have more information than ever to make purchase decisions. It is only logical that they will open their wallets for much more influencing, personalized digital elements directly in front of the shelf and customer, which can be measured in the same way as online purchases. How many customers opened the product details page, then bought my product? How many customers got a recommendation, then bought my product? This is powerful stuff. And that is, of course, given that retailers get Scan and Go right, with 10 to 20% of transactions done via Scan and Go. Now let me end with this. First, customers today, especially Scan and Go target cohorts, expect technology and data-infused journeys when shopping in physical stores. The target groups, such as Gen Z, are getting fit for employment, which means this is where the money lies in the future. Retailers that get that can harvest value created across channels by monetizing the Scan and Go media and stay ahead of the pack. Lastly, you don't have to start this from scratch, developing in the bubble without any outside input, because we love and live Scan and Go in the same way that you would your business. We've solved those questions and challenges of Scan and Go projects, so you don't have to. So by working with a vendor such as Shopreme, you can focus on what you do best: selling merchandise, fostering the relationship with your shoppers, and creating the best experiences for your customers. So be bold and create experiences, not queues. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you.
Let's see if we have questions. Yes, we
Paula.
have one.
Paula, it's going to be a
Thanks for
good
the
one.
presentation, Kevin. That was amazing. I totally see the value of the Scan and Go solution. I see how retail media can be implemented to it.
Yeah.
But in terms of the customer journey and the retail media, let's say I buy Barilla and you recommend me a sauce.
Yeah.
I add it in the app and then I go search for it in store. How does the journey happen?
You mean navigation around the store?
Like
Right.
I can understand that online, right? Like,
Yep.
oh, do you also want a sauce?
I mean,
Add it.
shopping for groceries, that is something I think very habitualized. So in those, I hope that was the question. So how do we then find my way through?
Yeah, like
So-
how is the
so,
customer journey
Yeah,
once
so
you
one thing is that where we are actually coming from was indoor navigation. Until at some point we noticed, well, most retailers don't even have a consistent set of digital floor plans. So how are you going to create a solution where you have to do this from scratch for every single store? It's not scalable. So while we have this functionality, it's not something, or we haven't found a retailer that where this would be feasible. But of course, a combination, and maybe there's a technological jump where you don't do this using Bluetooth beacons. I think at the Euroshop, and then you were there too, right, in February. I think at Euroshop there was a new business who said they do indoor navigation using the Earth's magnetic field. So I think there's a lot of new things arising, and maybe at some point that is of course something that you can do. Then leading customer through the journey using indoor navigation and directing them to the products. But for the stores that we love, where we go to every week, right? Store around my corner. It's often about proximity, and then maybe there are some other things that influence us. But the store where I go to and I love, then usually I know where the product is. But of course, this would be an enhancement that if we are there at some point and there's a standard in digital floor plans, this could still be done. Thank you for the fantastic question. Hope that answers it.
Thank you, Paula, for your question. if there are any more questions,
Don't be shy, as I
Yeah,
can
don't
ask a
be
question to the audience. If the audience has no questions, I ask the question. So, anyone here who's shopped using Scan and Go, a quick raise of the hand. Wow, that's good. That's amazing. Anyone who plans to implement Scan and Go? Very good. We talk later. But again, very important. If you do this, and there's a lot of retailers who do that by themselves, it's important. You need to nail it. It's really, really important. Not just for you and your customers, but also for us. Because our vision is that because we have this hardware in our pockets, we want customers to shop this way. This is our vision, right? We want customers to use the smartphone, never stand in queue again. But customers, on the wider scale, will only accept it if solutions are great. So if you plan to build the solution yourself and you don't do it quite properly, then this could also have an effect, of course, on the broader acceptance of the market. And if you need assistance with that, if you have further questions, let's catch up. We have a session. We tell you some more insights and secrets of how we do it with some customers. And then it's going to be a success. Wow, there are no further questions then.
Thank you. A round of applause for Kevin.
Thank you very much.